What is up, Wretched Nation? Today we're going to be doing a tune-up on the bike and kind of going over a little bit on the Sportster. It's been a while since we've talked about this bike. Before we get into it, I do want to say thank you to everyone who's been watching the videos, who's subscribed, and dropping a comment down below. Definitely helps the channel. We've been doing this for almost a year. Definitely still a very small channel, but having a good time. So I do appreciate every single one of you. Every video, if you can hit that like button and comment down below, say hey, what's up, comment something on the video, greatly appreciate it. And if you're watching this video and not subscribed, just please do. Makes me feel better. I'm sure it'll make you feel better. But let's get into this bike and see what we need to do. All right, we've got ourselves a couple spark plugs and a filter here. This bike was running a little rough. Pulled that rear plug. It's probably still, yeah, I just put a couple threads in there. And it's pretty kind of wet and black. So I'm pretty sure these plugs are fouled out. So we're going to change the plugs. They were like $5. They were less than $5.50, so not bad, around $5. And the air filter came with the bike. If you're not familiar with this bike, I'll give you a quick rundown. We picked this 2003 Sportster 883 up for $2,000, and it came with a bunch of parts, and we have sold most of the desirable stuff. We sold saddlebags, sissy bar, the wheels. We just sold the wheels and the shocks. We got about $300 for everything. I was not trying to hold on to stuff. I was just wanting to get it out and just get some money for it. So definitely some deals were had, but $300 after paying $2,000. Now this bike is down to $1,700, so that's not bad. The only real valuable thing we have left is the tank. We have an extra tank. It's a little dinged up though. If we sell it, probably get like $50 out of it. So all in all, we're into this bike for $1,650. Now there was definitely some talk about maybe building this bike and doing some different things, but I have turned and spent a great deal of money, not a great deal, but some decent amount of money on my Road Glide. So we are probably going to just kind of tune this bike up and probably sell it. We'll get the money out of it, and hopefully I can get $3,000 for it. That'd be great. I mean, I wouldn't be upset with a quick sale of $2,500, but it is almost May, and the only other 03 bike probably in a little bit better condition than this that I saw out there, they were asking like $5,000 for, which is kind of crazy. But I've definitely got some value into this, so that's going to be good. But that's where we are with the bike. We're going to fix it up, and it doesn't really need much. Just tune it up, clean it a little bit, and we're probably going to sell this. We'll put it up on Marketplace and see what happens, and we'll go from there. Maybe getting another bike, maybe flipping that. I don't know. But the money wouldn't hurt right now. So we're going to change the air filter, change the spark plugs, see how this thing runs. Yeah, this plug right here is very black and wet, so it was not having it. So hopefully new plugs will help. I think this bike's got 26 or 28,000 miles on it. The speedometer is not on the bike, but you can plug it up and see how much we have on the clock. But we got 2 new plugs. I didn't go with Harley plugs because I would have spent $5 to $10 on one plug probably. So we're just going to put some basic plugs back in it. We just picked up some Champion Harley part numbers, and we're going to throw them in there. Nothing too hard. They're gapped pretty tight to begin with. It was always a little safer to gap them a little tight than open. This isn't a problem, but if you have like a higher compression engine, or like even a vehicle, if you have like a boosted application like turbo or supercharged, when you get into that high RPM band, if that gap right there is a little big, it can actually blow the spark out. So we're going to gap them a little tight and see if that'll help. But we're going to throw these 2 plugs in, and we're going to see what it does before we throw the air cleaner on. All right, push the bike outside so it won't be so loud for the camera and whatnot. We're going to start it up and see how it runs now. It was sputtering a little bit at idle until it got like completely warmed up before, so we'll see how we do now. Let's see. There we go. Should get a little bit more fuel. Okay, needs a little bit more time on the choke. Okay, so I just saw something and I'm wondering if there's a bit of an issue here. We need to take the air cleaner off and see. But do you see that there's no gap between that spacer and the head? And it is there. So, bike's are running a little rough, but it also hasn't been started in over a month, so let's take that off and see what we can find. Okay, so maybe we're not doing the air filter. They don't match. So, I don't know what's going on. We're going to take it apart and see if we can't find out what's going on. I just assumed this was a filter for it, but I guess maybe that's why. I always thought it was strange why a filter came with the bike and they didn't just put it on. Well, now I know why. I guess they ordered the wrong one. Alright guys, we got a few funny, weird things going on with the Sportster here. I started poking around without turning the camera on. Let me just show you what I found. So you already knew about that, and the reason why of that, I'm guessing, is I hope this picks up on camera, but you can see daylight between the plastic housing and the carburetor. I hope you can see it, but you can see daylight coming through right here. Now, honestly, it really shouldn't matter. It's just a air cleaner housing, so running wise, it really wouldn't matter. It's not like a car that might have a sensor where you're letting air in before, like after the sensor, so it can't check that. It's not like that. But it does tell me that either something is missing or this air cleaner is not right. Shouldn't really affect the performance of the bike, but maybe the filter I do have is the correct one. I haven't looked up the part numbers. Maybe they ordered it based on the bike and realized they can't install it. So I don't know. There's a mystery to this bike. What do you think? Do you think the air cleaner's right and we're missing something, or do you think the filter's right and the air cleaner is completely wrong? Comment down below. But I did mess with the bike a little bit. It was stuttering some, so I took some parts cleaner and kind of just sprayed in there with it off. Try to clean some stuff up, and I think it's running better. So let's check it out. I mean, I know that's not completely right, but not really worth changing a bunch of stuff out either for it. So I think it's missing a piece, because the air cleaner, it says 100th anniversary, so I think it's missing a piece. I don't know. What do you think? It's obviously warmed up, but it starts up pretty good. carries RPM a little better. Still got a little bit of a stutter, but I don't think the motor is completely warmed up. Now you can still touch the top of the head and stuff, so it's not completely up to operating temperature, but let me cut the bike off. So less of a stutter than before. So it's running halfway decent, good enough for a, how old is this thing? Almost 20 years. Yeah, almost 20 years old. That's pretty crazy. So running pretty good for a 20-year-old carbureted Harley. So I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. We're gonna button everything back up. Probably be done with this little project. No, it's probably a little short video, but I just wanted to bring you guys something, especially coming off of our Key West trip. I know those were some too long videos. Special shout out to everyone who stuck through it and watched those. I appreciate you. We do have some stuff coming up on the Road Glide. I've got a couple review videos I'm planning on. We got our floorboards we need to do. We got an oil change we need to do. We got some stuff coming. My father-in-law ordered a set of shocks, the same shocks I got on my bike. So I don't know if I'll record that because it's the same thing, but we might. But we're putting shocks on his Street Glide. But this bike's posed, and once we get it back together, ready for sale. So it's good enough. Someone can get a good deal on it and have a nice bike for the summer, hopefully. Shoot, I bet you everything that, I'll probably just include everything extra that's with it. Everything with the bike and those aftermarket wheels and everything. The bike's in pretty good shape and it's a good value. So we'll button it up. We'll put it on the old internet and get it going. But first, hit that like button, comment down below, subscribe if you're not subscribed. But most importantly, above all, keep it wretched.